Hi, Misfits. Welcome back to the first episode, not a session zero, of Misfit Tables Isles of Mist. I am very excited to run today's campaign with you all. But first of all, I will introduce myself. My name is Callie McSaylor. I am a professional game master and owner-operator of Story Tables, which is a children's enrichment program where we run tabletop role-playing games, and Sun Sailor Productions, which is also tabletop role-playing game related, where we create modules, and also this channel. Let's go ahead and go around the table and have others introduce themselves. Today, let's start with Rose.
Hi, I'm Rose. I've been playing tabletop role-playing games since elementary school when we did not have a tabletop, but in fact it was more blacktop role-playing games. And I haven't stopped since then, which was years ago. And I'm excited to be here.
All right. Tori, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Tory Doctor. I am 6'3". I like long walks in the park, holding hands with puppies. I bet you didn't know they had hands. I am a retired actor, writer of the fantasy world of Arlyris, and the writer of the musical Off the Beaten Path, a choose your own adventure style fantasy musical where you, the audience, get to choose the path of the companions. And I'm playing Mads.
All right, Chad, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chad Yarish. I am a sign designer by day and a professional actor by night and a full-time gamer the rest of the time. So work, game, sleep, repeat. And today I will be playing Kyburn Sky Smelter.
I knew you were going to do an accent, and I'm just so glad I was right.
How can I not?
Chris, last but not least.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris. I'm a teacher, teach third grade, and I'm also a professional dungeon master. Been playing D&D and tabletop games for about 8 to 9 years. And I'm very excited to be here. And I'm playing Dominic Beck.
All right. So for those who missed session zero last week, Isles of Mist is actually the game system that my husband and I run for our children's enrichment program. It's been in development for 15 years, 10, 15 years. My husband's been kind of working on it for that long. And we are getting close to ready to publish it, but it is not published yet. And our players have been kind enough to run it with us as our first public showing of the system outside of our enrichment program. So I'm very excited to see how adults play in the system, and I'm very excited to see what you in the audience think of this rule set. It's a lot like Dungeons and Dragons in that you have, your skills that are added on to certain types of roles, which we call attributes. But the big difference is we do not use D20s. I, the DM, sometimes use a D20, but we use dice from D4 to D12, depending on the strength of the attribute. And you will see sort of how that develops as we begin today. So we're going to go ahead and start our campaign. We're going to set the scene. We're going to begin today in the land of Aldome. Aldome is a metropolitan city. It is also on the edge of a precipice, on a coastline that has fallen away, down, 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 down into the mist. Years ago, it used to be on a shore of a lake, but the lake broke off and fell down 1 mile deep into the mist. Some people survived down there, but most people live in Aldome, far above. it is still a hub of trade, regardless of the lake being lost, because in this world we have airships, and airships from all of the different surrounding regions in what is called the Ald Lands, which is a floating continent in these misty spaces, is filled with different types of people, and all of these people come from, they're not sure. They all awoken about 80 years ago. And the world is very new, and exploration is key. And Aldome is the center of this exploration. It is the center of trade. It is also a very diplomatic city, and a city where there are a lot of different types of people. And one of those people who is not from Aldome, but from far away and from a different land, is Jonquil Johnny Greenhollow. Jonquil is here in the port city, right in the ports where all of the airships dock, where their goods are inspected, and where you can hire various ships to take you to all sorts of different types of destinations. Rose, could you explain to us what Johnny looks like?
Of course. Johnny looks like a fighter. Johnny is tall, broad, and has kind of put together armor that's clearly been repaired, damaged, repaired again, rather than something beautiful but maybe less used. She has skin very kind of like a pale silvery blue, and curly white hair like the tops of waves. And her mist mark is curling deep indigo waves along her cheekbones. She carries twin blades and and is walking a truly beautiful pure white horse.
As you walk past, you do get several looks. Horses are, part of this world, horses are common, but beautiful, white, pristine horses like yours are not seen out on the street very often. They tend to be reserved for the gentry. But you also don't appear to be part of the Aldome gentry. You've got a mask off to the side, which kind of shows that you are part of the Lysa people, who come from an island floating deep out in the mists, very far from here. Because of this, people sort of give you a wide berth. They're not exactly sure why, but they find you a little unsettling. Maybe it's just that you match your horse. Maybe it's because they don't know what to do with you, but they part as you walk past. As you're walking along this precipice, where if you looked down, you would only ever see mist, you see a dock where there is a sign saying that the ship is headed toward where you are trying to go, which is Selida, a land very far away that is currently recovering from a very long and bloody civil war. As you approach the ship, though, you notice that this ship is not a lot like the other ships nearby. There seems to be some boards missing. It's floating, but it definitely has a lot of nicks in it that look like they've been hastily repaired. But the thing that really sets it apart is that it has engines. And it's not uncommon for, ships to have engines, but these are just like a little more, I don't know, you just can't place it. They seem to be emitting like a little bit of smoke, and they have this very loud humming noise, just kind of like constantly, not super loud because it's not going, but it's definitely making more noise than the engines you see on the other ships. Engines on the other ships tend to be powered by magic. This seems to be powered by something else, and you can't quite place it. It's a little bit smelly. It's not super pleasant, but this is the only ship that you see right now where it's going, where you'd like to go. Most of the other ships are staying a little bit closer. This could be due to the fact that the attacks from the Katawa Reavers, which are pirates from the Dark Lake that had fallen away, are on the rise. And you know this. So it's very risky for people to go further than just along the continent. As you approach that ship, you see another man standing there, and he appears to be in deep discussion with somebody that looks like they're a part of the Sky Authority. They have a costume that you've seen many of the other people around here have when they're inspecting goods. This is Kyburn Sky Smelter. Could you tell us what Kyburn looks like? Or not Kyburn. I'm sorry, not Kyburn. I got them mixed up. This is Dominic Beck. I'm sorry. Kyburn is nowhere to be seen at the moment.
So what you see in front of you, probably with a bit of a concentrated face, with heavy shoulders that seem to be carrying something unbeknownst to the public. This 5'6" guy with medium to short length hair, kind of slicked back, auburn hair. There mismarkings along the face, forehead, intricate in detail. The mismarkings and eyes give off an amber color, clean shaven, and just kind of just doing their best to put, it seems like doing their best to put on a performance in some kind of way, trying to maybe match the height of the individual in front of them that may be taller than them.
Hey, do I hear what they're talking about at all?
Yeah, so as you approach, they don't really notice you. Dominic, the person in front of you is somebody that you've run into before. He is one of the Port Authority. He is shaking his head at you and he says, "Listen, Dominic, I told you that if you were going to be ready to sail today, some changes needed to be made. I'm looking over my list here. You've got some of them. I applaud you for the effort. But I don't know if I can give you my seal of approval to leave dock today. I mean, your lifeboats, the float stone in the lifeboats, it is well below the level that you need. If you got in those lifeboats right now, you would fall very slowly. Maybe you won't die from the fall, but once you get down a mile, what are you going to do? You're going to be on the lost lake. You can't float back up. You don't have any flares to signal people. I don't know if I can approve this. I barely understand that engine."
Well, fortunately for you, you don't really have to. See, I have a person on board who comes with the ship. They can handle all of those kind of things that you're talking about. They're probably the best person to talk to. See, I just captain the thing. I just sail it where it needs to go. I'm just the authority. There is someone on board that you can talk to, Kyburn Sky Smelter. He knows the ins and outs, and you can handle all those things that you're discussing.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, I talked to him.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure he gave you the rundown. Then he knows, you know.
I mean, barely. I mean, he was mostly talking nonsense, talking a mile a minute. Very gruff fellow. Did not like me touching anything.
He's kind of like that. He don't like people touching things that are kind of personal to him, and the whole thing's kind of personal to him.
What are you going to do about the float stone? I can't let you leave port.
Tell you what, give me a little bit of time to handle that. I can rendezvous with you, meet back with you. Give me like maybe, I don't know, like an hour or two to handle what I need to take care of. I mean, these things, there's bureaucracy behind this, and of course I got to pull my weight and do what I need to do. You just got to give me a little bit of time.
I mean, I already gave you time, Dominic.
Can I approach behind him?
Yes, you may.
Okay, so hearing this, I'm going to approach, trying to draw myself up to my kind of full Revan height and width as much as I can. But then once I get closer to this man who I feel I probably recognize as Verton, I'll give like a cursory glance to the bureaucrat, but that's of less interest to me than Averton, and then kind of give a nod and just say, I know that time is quite of the essence, so I wanted to assure you that we're working as hard as we can to get those floats and flares loaded and ready. And I understand your frustration over the delay, and it shouldn't be too long now. I appreciate your patience.
Oh, I didn't realize you had hired a bodyguard. That's very good, Dominic. I can report back to your mother that you're taking some precautions.
You actually don't have to do anything. I've already told her that, so you're good. Actually, on that front, I've told her. In fact, why don't you? And if there's anything you need to worry about the ship, you can just direct everything to me. Don't even worry about her.
Well, I mean, your mother's one of the speakers of the city. If she asks me to report back to her, I kind of need to. It's
Did
my
she?
job.
Did she ask you though to do that?
Yes, specifically.
And if I told you that, I already told her everything that.
roll a grace test to get him to not
Oh God.
do his job.
What do I do?
You can use wit or grace in this situation, because grace can be used as social graces. Wits, it's kind of like you could turn it around into your favor.
I'm gonna use wit because I'm not graceful.
Okay.
The way I can try and assist him and give him advantage by, like, in this moment, just kind of nodding and saying sort of something like, of course, as a family matter, I'm sure you've spoken about it extensively privately.
Yeah, you know what? Your presence will lower the difficulty a little bit. Yeah, so you're gonna want to get a 5.
Okay, and so it says a D6 next to it, so I'm just gonna roll a D6. Okay.
Yes, you roll a D6. And
Now
add any social skills you have.
Add any social skills. I have persuasion.
That would be 1.
Perfect. Okay, that is a 5 on the roll plus a 1.
All right, that is enough. He says, all right. I'll take your word for it. Listen, I need you to get the float stone. You said you were leaving tonight, correct?
Yes, that is affirmative, yes.
Okay, before sundown.
Before sundown.
Before sundown. And Dominic, you know that floatstone is quite expensive, especially the specific type of floatstone you need for lifecraft, because the smaller the stone is, the less it floats. And so people don't like to chip away floatstone too much, because it could just lose all of its property and turn back into rock. So it's like a very delicate process to do that without busting everything. Right now, you in your pocket have enough to get floatstone, but you don't have enough to get food then for your crew.
Okay, I feel like this is the biggest decision of the whole campaign right now at the forefront. Okay. Do I need to make that decision right now?
No, you don't have to make that decision right now, but you have some potential options.
Okay.
It looks like the Sky Authority is going to let you go. He sort of nods to a little boy that is his assistant, and they get back into their goose chariot and harness the gooses back up or the geese back up, I suppose, and fly away down to their next assignment. As they're flying away, you kind of hear a buckle and like almost like just kind of like a coming from the engine that normally doesn't happen, but I'm sure everything's fine.
I feel like I need to go check on something. I'm sorry. What was your name, ma'am?
Jonquil Greenhollow. Most folks call me Johnny. I don't suppose you're taking on passengers on that beautiful ship of yours.
That depends. You bringing food with you?
I can.
Good. All right. Well, in that case,
market here, right?
Yeah. I mean, the least I could do. I mean, you seem to be savvy enough. Yeah. I'm sure we got the room. Kyburn will work it out, I'm sure.
Thank you. And worst comes to worst, I'm an able fisherman, and there's more in the mist than just dangers. There's also good eating.
True. Very, very true. Very true. Now, if you don't mind, that did sound like something that I might need to attend to.
Of course. You want me to play bodyguard while you're doing it? Got nowhere else to go.
Oh, you know what? That's actually not a bad idea. Well, why don't you? Yeah, we can do that. We'll play bodyguard and me. We'll do that. We'll play that game.
Yes, sir. I I follow onto the ship while the going's good.
All right, you are able to go up the gangplank onto the ship. The ship, is patched up, but it does seem nice. It seems well cared for. There are two young men, Durin young men, running around, getting ropes tied off, getting things ready, sweeping, filling up the buckets in case there's a fire below the different gas lights. They almost run into your horse for a minute, say, pardon me, and continue on their way. Dominic, you do know that there are some quarters on the ship that could house your new guest. You are also going fairly far, so you are going to be able to charge this guest maybe a little bit of money. This could get you what you need for the floatstone.
Do I happen to know how much exactly I might need in total?
So currently you have 500 iron bits on your person, lake coins. You could probably, for this trip, if they paid for their own food, get about 300 iron bits.
Ooh, okay. That's from
Johnny.
Oh, okay.
Potentially.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna turn to Johnny. Now listen, there's obviously some things that happen and occur on, airship travel, things that we have to make sure that we are accounting for. With that does come a bit of to be crass, money. We can't, just allow anyone to just come on just free of charge. Now I understand you want to play bodyguard and that's cool and all, but that still comes with we still need to charge, unfortunately.
I imagine it's also a lot harder to get a ship off the ground when they've literally grounded you.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah, unfortunately. So I'm thinking. Actually, how much you got on you? I mean, I'm just curious.
Not a lot, honestly. I've come
Okay.
recently from Lysa, as is obvious, but I'll pay what I can. I'm happy to pay everything that I do have, and I'm happy to keep assisting you as I did on the docks. Like I said, a ship not allowed to part makes you no money. A ship, at least in the air, with a low price passenger, at least you're in the air. And
I'm gonna write you up a bill. I have to get it in writing, of course. Sign things. I'll get your bill written up, and I'll send it to your quarters later, if that's doable for you.
I'm sure it will depend on what's on it, but like I said, and I'll just take out a coin purse and I will just hand it to him, and I'll kind of just nodding at you deferentially, just say, truly, that is what I have. It's very important for me to get to Celida, and whatever I can do for you, the ship, just as I did for you on the docks, to help pay the rest of the way, I'm happy to do.
Well, thank you very much. I'm sure this will be fun. I'm sure I can work with this. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
When you open up the pouch, you see that inside it's a little light. Your heart already drops as it's in your hand, but you see 20 shiny coins, iron bits.
Yeah. This is going somewhere, I'm sure. So your contributions have been noted. I mean, obviously you got places to go. So yeah, we're good. You know what? We're good. We're squared away. I'm sure we're good.
Right then, you hear another explosion from below deck. This one louder this time.
Oh, what in the world? All right, so I guess we're going downstairs. You heard the rambunctious. We need to go check this out. Obviously, I start immediately going downstairs.
Yeah. You run downstairs. You get down a deck into the engine room. Are we still running tech? I'm just curious because my stream seems to have hiccuped. Okay, great. That must just be my stream. You run downstairs and it is hard to see because it has filled with smoke. You are coughing a little bit. These fumes are not pleasant. As you get into the engine room, you can hear Kyburn kind of swearing and hitting the different pipes. Kyburn, could you please, now is your introduction, could you please introduce yourself? What do you look like? What are you doing?
Kyburn is a short, stocky, muscular build. No hair on anywhere on his head, because it tends to get burnt off pretty quickly. His mist marks, you can't tell if that is his mist mark or like a grease stain that got blown backwards. Sort of metallic and greasy black looking. Always scowling, always.
All right, Kyburn, right now there is something going on with this infernal contraption. You're not exactly sure what, but you did have to rush a few of the repairs. Dominic said you were leaving tonight, in the depths of night, and you may have cut a couple of corners. I want you to roll a wisdom test to see if you can pinpoint the problem before it gets any worse.
Wisdom.
And then you can add any engineering skill that you have or technical skill that might be relevant to this situation.
I have engineering, crafting.
Engineering would definitely be one that you can use.
And that's my prodigal skill. Is that the right pronunciation of that? Right. So D4 is a 1 plus 2 is a 3.
Oh, so you rolled a 1 on the dice?
Yes.
All right. So this is a fun game mechanic. This is whenever you get a 1, that is considered a critical, but that does not mean it is a critical failure. It could potentially also be a critical success. Right now, in order to know this, you're going to want to get a 4 on the dice. And that will be a critical success. Anything below a 4 is going to be a critical failure, and we'll see what happens. 4. All right. You are unsure for a minute what's happening. Smoke is billowing. There is your boss standing over your shoulder and some very pretty stranger, but you are looking and you just kind of catch it. And you remember something that you had seen in one of your father's books, and you kind of go around the machine and you see a kind of shaking bit, and it is about to blow. So I need you to in this moment, be very quick on your feet, because if you do not catch this, it is going to be bad. So this is going to be either a strength or a grace roll. You get to choose it. You can also use that engineering skill for this.
Well, my strength is a D10, so I guess I'll go with that.
That would probably be.
Do I get to add engineering to the strength roll?
Yeah, you can. You can add your engineering skill.
So 7 on the die, we'll make that a 9.
9. Oh my gosh. You seal it up and everything becomes calm. You hear the engine purring. It is happy. If you feel one with the engine once again. Unfortunately, the cabin is still filled with smoke.
Sorry, everyone. Sorry. It was just the swage armor came off of the rocking valve, and one of the fuel injectors got plugged up near the end cap. The seal is fine now. We're all fine. It's a bit smoky in here. Can we open a window?
Well, just so we're clear, Kyburn, we are good. Like, it didn't sound good, but we are good. That's not going to happen again.
It was just a minor setback. Was all it was.
All right, cool. Because like we're gonna be setting out pretty soon. I'm thinking sundown. I don't know, give or take. But hopefully by then we'll no more setbacks, right?
No, it's all fine. Patting the bulkhead, and you hear another little clank, clank. 1 second, and he just dives underneath the engine.
Sorry, Callie.
While you're doing that and you're fixing it, Kyburn, another figure enters into the cabin. My gosh, Oh my goodness, that smoke is leaking out of every corner here. And you see Deborah. She is the cook and also helps a bit with the sailing. She is sort of waving a kerchief around, and she runs over to one of the windows and starts opening it. And she's like, "My gosh, I told you to be a lot more careful. If you're gonna be tooling around in here, you should just keep the windows open at all times. You know, I don't cook with the windows closed. You shouldn't be doing this with the windows closed."
Aye. Well, it's no worse than the smell of similar cooking, Deborah.
Hey, you know, you love my cooking.
Just leave me to my business, woman.
Ah, fine. Oh, and who's this? She points at you, Johnny.
I'll kind of nod towards her and say, I'm Jonquil Greenhollow. Most folks call me Johnny.
She's gonna be the new bodyguard. Just she's hired help. Well, not help. Muscle. Muscle.
I certainly hope to be a help as however I can, whether that's with muscle or in another way. I'm happy to learn. I'll do what I can.
Oh my gosh, Dominic! And she hits you on the shoulder. I'm so glad you heard me. I was so worried that we were going to Celida. When you told me that our first voyage was going to be all the way to Celida, man, you could have knocked me over with a feather. I mean, wow.
Well, let's just keep that last part of our first travel. Let's just keep that on the down low. We don't need to go broadcasting that everywhere. You'll keep that in house.
Oh, you didn't tell this Johnny person that this is our first voyage?
Well, Johnny just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and unfortunately at this moment in the wrong time, because I haven't told her much yet because we just got acquainted.
That's all right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can keep it very quiet. And she winks at you and she says, "Okay, well, I'll just get back over to the kitchen. Johnny, do you know where you're staying?"
I was shown some quarters just down the hallways, if I can remember my way back.
Okay, great. Could you do me a favor? If you're gonna lay down, can you just pull back the covers before you do and make sure you don't lay down, because I don't want you squishing my little squish. I'm not exactly where she went, not exactly sure. So just keep an eye out, and if you see her, she's about yay big. All right. I gotta get going.
I glance automatically to Dominic and then Kyburn. Little squish?
So Dominic, you know that Deborah has what is called a mushkin. A mushkin is a tiny forest spirit that looks like a little mushroom person. It comes and goes. She found it in the Great Forest, and it's been a friend of her family for ages. Trevor and Troy are actually her sons.
I say it's one of those spirits that you hear about. And I'm not too fond of the spirits. I'm more, on the scientific side. But it's part of the family and of hers. So I mean, it's done no harm as far as we can tell.
Of course, no. There's more out there than we know of. That's for sure. All right, I'll definitely keep an eye out. I'd hate to squash someone's family friend.
Hey, don't squash the squish.
Don't squash the squish, exactly. Everybody in this room, the smoke is clearing out. I want you to make a perception test. This is going to be your wit attribute. Mm-hmm. So your wit dice plus any skill in perception. 5. All right. 2.
That's an 8 for me.
Yeah, two on my part.
All right, a 2 and an 8. The only one that seems to notice this is actually Kyburn. Kyburn, you're fiddling with stuff, and then you just kind of you perk up. You hear like some thumping coming from another part of the ship. You're not exactly sure what it is. It's almost like a scratching. Almost like something is crawling on the exterior of the ship. But that's impossible because you are hovering over an abyss.
I'm just gonna go check for barnacles, and I run upstairs.
Do I know barnacles is a code word? I'm sure he'll be fine. He knows what he's doing.
All right, Kyburn, you run upstairs. You peek over the edge of the boat, and at first you don't see anything. Just a little bit of mist that kind of comes up for a minute, and then it can't be right. Like this can't be what you're seeing. You see maybe like a little tail flit by. You're not exactly sure, but it's like it kind of rounds the corner before you can really get a good look at it. What do you do?
Trevor, Troy, either you see anything? Anything with a tail whipping about?
Let me see. Trevor looks over the side. Just the barnacles on the side of the vessel.
You're useless, boy.
Hey, I'm not useless. And he hucks a bunch of ropes around his shoulders. He's like, I'm helping.
Yeah, very helpful. Just keep your eyes open. And I will see if I can track it around the ship, just keeping ears out.
Sure. Go ahead and make another wit test to see if you can find out where it's gone to next.
7.
7, nice. You hear that clawing again. You kind of round to the back, and this time you see it. It appears to be an otter that is clinging to the side of the boat, almost like a rock climber clings to rocks, and it is trying to peel off barnacles with its tiny little hands. It looks up at you and kind of squeaks.
Oi, you! What's in my barnacles? Get off with you!
It squeaks and then it runs up and then kind of jumps on the railing, and it almost doesn't seem to know where to go from here. And it just sort of, does the otter thing along the railing.
All right. And I'll shout out, down to the dock. All right. Who lost their otter?
I haven't lost mine. I know exactly where it is. Right there.
All right. Who are you? As I brandish a wrench at this newcomer.
Oh, yes.
What are you doing on my shit?
Well, first of all, I'm the... which question do you want first? The first one or the second one first?
You choose. It's a free country.
All right, I shall do the first one first, then the second one second, and then you will have both the first and second in just a second. Yeah, I am the owner of said otter. And, well, really, we own each other. He's mine, I'm his, we're each other's. I don't actually know if he's a he. Maybe she's a she, I don't know. I don't ask. Gender isn't important to me, Not when it comes to otters. Well, if it were a partner for me, well, not that saying that the otter isn't my partner, because we're a partner in crime. I mean, I don't do crime.
All right, skip to the end.
Okay, and the end. Perfect. Next.
Wait, who are you and what are you doing here?
Oh, didn't I answer
twice
them?
again.
All right. Yes, the second one second. Oh, what am I doing here? Well, chasing after my otter, of course.
Right. Well,
Chad,
that solves that
as you're
riddle.
talking to this, sorry, Chad. As you're talking to this strange man, you notice that there is a little squish sitting on the brim of his hat. The mushkin is sitting there, just sort of holding onto the edge, looking around. When it sees the otter, it kind of makes a little trill noise and jumps from the hat down and floats almost like a dandelion, like fluff on the wind, down to the otter and puts its arms out to the otter like it wants a hug.
Right, so this is a mushroom-shaped creature, so it just
It's a
basically
mushroom-shaped
Mary
creature
Poppins
about
its way
yay
down.
big.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And-
like 13 times adorable, isn't it?
What does the otter do when it sees the mushkin?
Oh, just absolutely fascinated, wants to play.
They immediately start playing. They get each other on a level that only very playful animals would get. They're running up and down the gangplank. They're having a great time. They're going back and forth. As this is happening, this commotion, you, Kyburn, speaking to this stranger, elicits a bit of curiosity, and you see Deborah kind of poke her head over the railing and say, "Oh my gosh, my squish! You gave me such a fright." And she runs up to the squish and picks it up in her hands, and she says, "Did you make a friend? Oh," and she puts the squish on her shoulder, and she goes down to the little otter, and she says, "Oh, was this the thing that was making the scratching noises, Kyburn?"
A sickening cute little bugger, and it's very verbose friend over here. Dominic, you got a visitor. And I'm going to stomp back downstairs.
Dominic, you hear your name being called.
I walk with intent to the outside of the ship to meet whatever awaits me.
While you get there, you see that Deborah has been speaking to a man with kind of a big purpley beard. He appears to be a Saren. He's got, light colored purple eyes, and he's, dressed practically, but there are different touches of flair that are very colorful. And she seems very charmed by the stranger, though a little confused sometimes when he speaks. As you approach, Deborah turns to you and says, "Oh, so this is actually the captain. This is Dominic Beck. We are, this is the Beck and Call. This is our ship. This man here, he has this little otter, and he can just pluck those barnacles right off the side of the boat. And I was thinking, why, we should get them off. Make this thing look a little bit more respectable, right?"
Well, it's definitely in need of, a makeover, if you will. I'm sure Kyburn will be okay with that. I usually defer to him on those endeavors, but absolutely. I mean, cleaning this thing up, it definitely needs a once-over. I'm sorry, what was your name, kind friend?
Well, I don't know what it was, but it is Mads. Did you think that I had another name at another time? That would be weird. How many names do I have? Do you know? Let me know when you find out.
I don't think I'll be doing any of that. See, my name is Dominic Beck. I am Captain Beck of the Beck and Call. I try to do little work as possible in the fastest way possible. So,
all right, Captain Dick, it's a pleasure to meet you.
No, Captain Beck. It's Beck.
I'm sorry?
With a B.
No, I heard you. I'm just sorry. That's unfortunate.
You seem to be a savvy fellow in some sort of way. This is your otter, then.
Oh, yes. Well, he's mine. I mean, I'm his. I'm theirs. Well, I don't know. Genders is not a thing for me unless it's a partner I'm looking for. And then, well, I mean, not to say that my otter isn't my partner. We're partner in crime. Not that we're criminals. We've been through this with the bald one.
You got it all out of your system now?
I'm sorry?
Never mind. See, are you here for any particular purpose?
Is there
absolutely.
Something that I can help you with? No. You don't have to help me at all.
What is that purpose then, if I might ask?
Oh, my otter.
Oh, you're just here for the otter. I didn't have an otter. I'm confused beyond anything right now.
You see, my otter now has a position here on the Beck and Call, and
the Beck and Call.
I'm sorry.
You're not sorry, are you?
Yes and no, to be precise. But now he has a position here, which means I must look after him. He is not of age. She is not of age. They are not of age. But I am their guardian. You are so very welcome in advance. So what we will take is room and board and nothing else. Don't you worry. We'll be fine on our own. So if you could just point me in the way of my cabin, I'd be greatly appreciated.
Wait, are you coming aboard? I just was going to hire your otter to take care of some of the barnacles so my boys didn't have to do it. But if you don't mind me asking, are you a Saren?
Am I Saren? I don't know, am I? I don't know. Yes, the tears, what do they tell you?
Oh,
and you see tears for his tattoos coming out of his eyes.
Yes, he has the Saren tear markings for sure. She looks at you and she says, Dominic, he's a little, she takes you aside. I know he's a little different.
Eccentric is the word I would use.
That's what different means where I come
Okay.
from. But he's a Saren. And my boy Troy, he's prone to accidents, and we're going out on a very long journey. And it is normal protocol to have at least a healer or a Saren aboard. And I heard you arguing with the Sky Authority. He's eccentric, and he says he'll do it basically for free, just for barnacles for his order, I'm guessing. So I don't know.
Well,
Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt. So, which way is our little cabin? Doesn't need to be large. Just one of the larger ones, if you could. Thank you. Appreciate it. Very kind.
I put my hand on her shoulder and I said, why don't you show this kind fellow in his otter where he will be staying?
Thank you, Captain Dick.
You're welcome.
Deborah's like, oh, okay. And she says, come along, Squish. We're gonna show our guests to their quarters. She takes Squish with her, and Squish is very happy to see that this otter is coming on board. She's, doing little dances with it, and in fact, leads everybody down the stairs even before Deborah does. So time is starting to pass. Dominic, you've been kind of derailed in your mission of finding floatstone. The sun hasn't set yet, but it's getting very close. You do not have a very quick means of transportation to the other side of town where they sell floatstone for Lifecraft. You have a couple of choices now. You could potentially take the floatstone from one of the other life vessels and kind of like store it in one and sort of hope that the Port Authority doesn't see the other side of the ship. You also could just potentially, I don't know, bribe somebody. You are of higher position. You have a little money stored up. You're not sure.
Okay.
I've got an idea, boss. What if I took some of the slag from the coal after the engine room and we painted it up to look like floatstone, and then we just sort of, put it in place?
That's no way to talk about women.
Ignore that, Kyburn. How foolproof is this plan?
Oh, any moderate inspection would show that it's completely fake, but from a distance, I think it would pass muster.
I'm gonna level with you. This Port Authority seems to be a stickler, and I might want to go the bribing route. I don't like doing this. I don't like throwing that weight around, but it might be the only way. Why don't we do this? Kelly, I'm gonna see if I can kill two birds with one stone here. I want to see if I can get Kyburn, if it's at all possible with time, to at least get started on that particular plan, or maybe hoarding it all in one while I try to wait at the front of the ship. Maybe a little off kilter from the front of the ship where I think this person is going to be coming from, and try to let them know everything's squared away. Wink, wink.
Yeah. You can certainly go wait outside and see if Kyburn can try this on his own. There is plenty of coal. He could potentially use chunks of it to look like floatstone. Kyburn, this is an interesting one. I'm wondering what kind of role to do for painting coal to look like floatstone. All right, so why don't we do a wisdom test, and then that will determine the grace test that we have afterward for sort of like being able to artistically pull this off.
So not necessarily paint, but use various chemical reactions with some of the other fuel type stuff that we have on board. Like I have engineering, and I have tinker's tools.
Ooh, okay.
And I've got that my everything tool, the all wrench.
And you have lived on this particular airship for no one knows how long. So
Not
you
even
are familiar with both coal and floatstone. So I will let you do this with advantage. But I do think maybe we'll skip the wisdom roll on that since you're from this. I do want you to roll a grace roll because this is kind of a precise thing to make it look like this, even from a distance.
all right. Nat 8 plus whatever.
You said nat
Engineering.
8?
Yeah, Nat 8.
Nice. Okay. You get right to it. You are, taking little drops of things to, add that sort of porous quality that floatstone has. You are, adding a little bit of a sheen here and there because it does twinkle a little bit. And you've got a very passable float stone in your arsenal now. You can begin loading it into the lifeboat just as the sun begins to set. Dominic, you see the Sky Authority roll up in his goose chariot. He looks a little bit tired, a little bit weary. This is probably his last stop today. And he says, "All right, Dominic, did you do the things that I told you to do?"
All right, quick question. Do I know his name?
You know what? I never gave him a name. I just called him Sky.
I just assumed I didn't ask for it.
His name is Johan.
Johan. Okay.
Johan, the Port Authority. The Sky Authority.
Okay. Listen, Johan, if you look right behind me, just a little off the distance, you'll see that it's all been taken care of, or at least in the process of being taken care of. And I don't want to be this guy, but I'm going to be this guy. You are, at this point, kind of being, I don't know, slowing me down. You're setting me back. I'm taking care of what you asked for per your request. Per my request, if you need anything, report back to my mom. If you wish, if you have any complaints, she will handle it. Are we savvy?
I mean, I do need to inspect the lifeboats. That's part of my job.
I'll tell you what. I'm coming off too strong. You're right. You do need to. It's part of your job. Who am I to deter you from your job? How about I give you an incentive not to?
He leans forward and he's like, "What kind of incentive?"
I'm thinking something along the coin route. Coin talks. People like coins. But if it's not something, if it's not that you need, maybe a favor.
That I could use. Coin can be traced, you see. People know how much I get paid. My books are watched, right? We can't have people bribing the Sky Authority and letting certain things through. Right?
Listen, you're using the B word. I'm just.
Oh, no. No, I'm saying other people would do that.
Right.
You understand that you have certain sway, potentially with your mother?
Yes, I have sway, if that's what you want to call it.
I mean, I can see Kyburn up there loading up your life raft. I will just assume it's the correct amount. If you could potentially write a note to your mother allowing me to have the water rights to the property I recently bought. It keeps being pulled back into the courts over and over again, and I really need those water rights. You see, my wife, she really likes duck ponds, and I want a pool. So if we could just not go through all the bureaucracy, I think it would make me feel a little less stressed.
Well, Johan, I understand the trepidation with having to deal with the bureaucracies. I understand that. I too do not like having to deal with all the paperwork, but a simple letter to my mother will take care of the request in which you need for you and your wife. And again, happy wife, happy life. Am I right?
Exactly. You understand.
Too much I do.
You are able to write up a letter very quickly in your quarters. You give it to Johann. Johann sort of gives you a little salute with the rolled up scroll and flies away just as the sun is setting. Everybody is getting settled in for the night. Things are calming down. Everything looks like you will be ready to leave at midnight. Of course, your new benefactor hasn't arrived quite yet. You're not exactly sure what to expect. And that's when we're going to leave it for now, because we are coming right up on break. After break, you are going to set sail, hopefully, with, I mean, if your benefactor ever shows up, you'll have to see. They were odd, to say the least.
Fair enough.
Place your bets now.
All right. Do we have a word from our sponsors tonight?
Indeed, we do. We've all been there. You're in the heat of battle. Things are tense. One of your party members is down, the cleric is down to cantrips, and the others aren't looking so good. It's your turn, and a clutch move could swing the tide in your favor. You ready yourself to strike a harrowing blow. You roll the dice. It's a natural 1. And this isn't the first time. This dice has been performing poorly all day. You haven't rolled anything above a 4 in quite some time. It's time to switch it out and try another. But simply putting the offending die in timeout to think about its performance isn't enough. You need to send it to Dicelation. Dicelation is a tough love maximum security rehabilitation program for miscreant dice. In the Dicelation program, your die will experience the kind of pain its actions have caused others to suffer. Your die will be put through rigorous, strenuous, possibly torturous, maybe semi-legal regimen that will help it not only to understand how its actions have let you down, but also to understand that there is a price to pay for repeated failure. While in Dicelation, your derelict die will become immediately familiar with the mental anguish suffered from being completely cut off from all communication, sensory input, and social support. Your die will be so alone, it'll start to question whether it actually existed. At the same time, images of you suffering in various ways will be pumped directly into the die's mind, showing it just how much its failure affects you. Thirdly, your die will be continually prodded with practically non-lethal electrical shock to simulate the anguish you suffer when it just won't do the one thing you bought it for. We guarantee that after the Dicelation program, your die will come out with an all-new respect for and or fear of you, and conditioning that simply won't allow it to roll anything less than what's best for you. In fact, we're so confident in the Dicelation program that if it doesn't work, we'll offer a 5% discount on all future purchases. Dicelation, take control of your roll by any means necessary. This message brought to you by Yarish Entertainment Services. Yes.
Wonderful. I feel like this is an actual product that you could sell.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, just give me a 3D printer and some access to Maya, and I think I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'd buy one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, we are going to take a 5-minute break. Exactly, but probably not exactly. And we will be back to see if we get on our way without any problems.
Sounds good. See you on the other side, guys.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Misfit Table, where we are playing Isles of Mist. Isles of Mist is an original game system that is currently being run in the after-school enrichment program for children that my husband and I run called Story Tables. This is a magical world filled with mysterious mists and powerful airships and just a ton of magic and mystery. It's kind of a new world and barely explored by those who inhabit it. The system is easy to learn, but I would say fun to master. There's enough flavor as you progress along to keep you interested in it for years. And many of our students have actually been playing with us for many, many years until they've become adults and now run the programs themselves as our story guides. So that is the world of Isles of Mist. Where we last left our adventurers were at the port in Aldome, this very metropolitan fantasy city. They have loaded up and managed to pass inspection on their airship and are getting ready for their maiden voyage. The sun that is always in a permanent spot in the sky has slowly dimmed now into its moon form, and everything has turned into night. Between the ever-present mist clouds, you see little dots of stars far away. It's a very peaceful night. Perfect launching weather, no mist storms in sight. As everybody's sort of getting settled in their various quarters, Deborah is cleaning up from a meal that everybody was presented, and everybody's just sort of waiting with bated breath to see if this shipment will come in. And just as, it's reaching about 5 minutes past midnight, Dominic, you're checking your watch, you're getting worried. You hear the kind of slow trudge, plop, 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 of a road tortoise coming toward you. In fact, there are 2 road tortoises coming toward you. They have on top of them several large crates. All of them have been nailed shut. Leading these road tortoises are the 2 people who came to you just the day before. Zeldana is a Lyran. She is very tall, willowy, but not in a very healthy way. She's got very thin arms, very thin legs, almost like somebody stretched her out like taffy. Her long black hair always sort of falls into her face. And she, so far as you've seen, barely blinks. She gives you a little bit of the heebie-jeebies, but her money was right. And if you accomplish this, you are going to be set. This is your maiden voyage. They are taking a risk with hiring you. You are trying to do your best to impress them. And you haven't asked a lot of questions. Zeldana walks up to you and she says, Dominic, it's good to see you again.
As usual, the pleasure is always mine. So I mean, I'm glad you're here. Was waiting for you as long as I could.
Yes, I'm sorry we were running late. We had a couple of problems, but they seem to be solved now. And she looks over at Gaffrin. Gaffrin, you've never actually seen the face of. They always keep their hood up. Gaffrin kind of looks over till Zeldana, whispers something in her ear, and she looks back at you and says, we are ready to load the ship. But before I do, where are your crew? I would prefer them to stay out of the way.
Well, currently the crew is on the ship, but I can, keep them busy if I need to. If that's what you're asking, I can definitely keep their eyes on me.
Yes, maybe gather them in one part of the ship and make sure that none of them wander off. We are doing a very delicate operation, you see, and we don't want anybody setting things off.
Exactly how much time do you think you need?
Oh, not much time at all. Give me 30 minutes.
Okay, well, I was expecting less than that when you said that, but okay, 30 minutes. I'll hold their attention for as best as I can, which is the best, of course.
Yes, I will wait here. Make sure nobody leaves the hold that you're keeping them in.
Right. Okay. Just assume in about 5 minutes, maybe 10, that you can just come on and do your thing, and then I'm gonna walk up and I'm gonna find Kyburn. I'm gonna find Kyburn. Listen, Kyburn, I need your assistance. You've got loud voice. Can you get everyone in, let's say, the front of the ship if you can, and below deck? We need to have a meeting before we set sail.
Absolutely, boss. You got it. All hands on deck. Timmy, you swabs.
That was great. That was great. Thank you very much.
Definitely follow the sounds of shouting.
All right. Oh, also, Johnny, we didn't speak about it earlier, but your horse has been set up with some hay in the hold and is content.
As much as it can be.
As much as it can be. As a horse on an airship is.
I do kind of give the heads up to, be cautious. She's nippy.
All right. So Johnny, you follow the sound of Kyburn. What about you, Mads? Do you stay in your room or do you follow them?
Oh no, this is very exciting. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm very Crusher, come with me. Come with me. There's a good Crusher. Let's go see what the bald one wants.
I look a little concerned in the hall when I hear somebody calling for Crusher. I'm worried about that being a safety concern. And then I just see an adorable otter. So with a moment's confusion, I then follow them, keeping just keeping an weather eye out.
All right. If you guys want, you can actually see where you are gathered in the Beck and Call, the airship. If you go to the Owl Bear Rodeo link that I sent you in an email, you will see that kind of below decks, just off of the captain's quarters near the front, is a sort of empty room. That Dominic, that the normal area that everybody eats and kind of gathers is right near where a lot of the storage is going to be put. So you try to make sure that everybody doesn't go to the mess hall. You are putting them more in this territory over here.
Roger that.
So where I put the little shield. So you guys are gathered here. What do you tell them?
Well, hello everyone. Good evening. This is going to be a routine thing that we do whenever we set sail. We're just going to go ahead and do a quick roll call, make sure everyone is squared away. We don't want to leave anyone back on all lands when we leave. I also want to make sure that if there's any questions that you may have, that I can try to answer to the best of my ability. Just know that I may not all have all the questions that all the answers that you may need. In that time, I'll research what you possibly. Yes, sir, with the otter, Mads.
Yes. I have a question. If we have a question that pops up immediately, do you want us to ask that question immediately or wait until you are finished?
I'll tell you what. You go ahead and you ask that question whenever it pops up. Oh, okay, yeah, you go right ahead then.
I have a question. Where is the mess hall and when can we eat?
It's a very fine question. Chow time was much earlier, but if you feel like you get a bit snackish, then you eat in your own quarters. I trust you to be cleanly. Nothing. We're not going to be military up in here. I'm not gonna square your way. I'm sure you can handle your own stuff.
Thank you very kindly. And I turn and start to walk off.
Oh, well, actually, right now, man, you have to stay for the whole thing. We're doing a whole. You have to listen. There's a whole spiel. There's a whole speech.
Oh, you wanted me to wait till the end to ask my question?
Well, no. If you want to eat, you can eat right here. That's fine.
All right. And then he starts to go to the mess hall.
And
No.
just grabs him by the knee. You're staying here with us, Bucko. You're gonna listen to everything the captain says. And then, when we've deemed it time, I'll let you go. And watch your water, weasel.
I have no idea what you just said. Can anyone translate that for me?
It's okay. It's okay. Deborah kind of leans in and pats you on the arm. And she says, I always keep a little something on me. I got 2 boys. They're always hungry. Here, just take this. And she gives you what is essentially an energy bar.
Oh, delicious. Very exciting. You're very kind. What's your name again?
Deborah.
Oh, that's certainly a name, isn't it, Deborah?
I mean, you asked me it 3 times already, but yes, Deborah.
Yes. Oh, well, you answered it 3 times. 3 times the charm, they say. Who are they? I don't know.
Right. Well, so again, that was a good question you had there, Mads. But anyways, like I was saying, we will be setting sail shortly. What I'd like to do is make sure everyone is squared away. I know we have a couple of newcomers on. We'd like to go ahead and set the tone for what will be a brilliant and I'm sure long but enjoyous travel. I am your captain, Captain Beck. Dominic, Captain Beck, whatever it is that you feel appropriate, that's comfortable for you. I actually do prefer Captain Beck, so you do what you will. Of course, we have Kyburn Sky Smelter. He's over here. He's a very kindly fellow. Don't touch any of his stuff. Kyburn, you got anything you want to add to that?
Hey, stay out of the engine room. It's strictly off limits to the lot of you. And if I catch you in there, you'll feel the backside of me wrench.
Yeah, he's like that way with me as well. So it's nothing personal.
Oh, so you can't understand him either.
It comes with time. You just got to spend a little bit more time with him, and you'll understand him more as the days go on.
Deborah, this is a lovely piece of snack, whatever this is. It satiates the old tum-tum, you know what I mean?
Well, it's just a little bit of peanut butter and some oats and just like a little bit of pinch of chocolate chips.
Chocolate chips, well, that's exciting. Go ahead, Captain.
Well, thank you. So just another thing. There's a few other staff members. We got Deborah. She's our cook. She's got children on board. We want to watch our language while we're around. We got kids in the area. There's stuff going on. Be careful what you're doing.
Speaking common.
Something weird. Well, common. Yeah,
yes, that's the language I'm speaking right now, and I can understand you. So that means you're speaking common too.
You're quite the observant one there, Mads. So you just watch your language around the kids, and if you see something weird, you say something that And when I say weird, I'm already backtracking. I don't even want to say that. If you see something peculiar, just let myself or Johnny know. Johnny is our new hired muscle on board, an enforcer, warrior type person. You could tell. I mean, with a Revan on board, we're pretty much squared away. Nothing bad's gonna happen because we got Johnny.
Sweet mother of pearl, it's like an angel punched me in the eyeballs when I saw you for the first time. Johnny, is it? Oh, what a lovely a being you are. I mean, yes, what? Okay, yes.
Does he need the smocking? It seems like he needs a reset.
Maz, are you good?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. So just a quick point out. There's a couple of areas on the ship that are off limits. Kyburn's already covered one of them. Do not go down to the engine room. It's not a place for everyone. It's just a place for him, and he knows what's going on there. And if you have people in there meddling around, things could go wrong. And we are flying, and we do not want to fall. The storage bay is also off limits. It's in the back. It's in the aft. The aft of the ship. So there's personal belongings there. It keeps everyone clean and innocent and honest. So that area is also off limits. If you feel the need to go to the top of the ship during air travel, please make sure it's during the daytime. At night, it's hard to keep track of anyone who falls over. At this point, is there any questions or comments or concerns that might come to mind to any of y'all?
Just when we get started.
Wonderful.
Journey ahead of us.
Well, I have some questions of my own actually. With the people we have on board, I'd like to take a minute to have Mads and Johnny. I've met you. You've met me. You've met Kyburn. There's other people I'm sure around. Why don't we do a quick get to know each other better before this ship takes off? And I'm at this point, I'm just kind of looking at my watch and looking at the door. Johnny, why don't you go first? Why don't you tell us and regale us how you came to be here with what was your pet's name?
Oh, they're not fond of names. But if you need to talk to them, you can talk to me. I go by Johnny. I have a name.
Right. Well, see, we didn't know that, so that's good that we know that now. So, is there anything else you need to address? Any safety concerns? You got safety concerns, safety tips, things you want to point out to the people in the
You actually hear a knock at the door as you're sort of stalling for time.
Oh, you know what?
About to break up the icebreakers, like, and what's your star sign? Okay.
Captain speaking, we're all supposed to be quiet. That's what I've gathered because I can tell things about people.
I'll tell you what, Johnny, why don't you go over there? I'm gonna take care of this real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, I opened the door. I'm here to support the captain, as entertaining as I'm finding this.
And I'm just
Johnny,
keeping an eye on
door?
Mads.
Yeah, I opened the door.
All right. You open the door and you see a tall, very lanky woman with dark hair. She looks at you, kind of looks you up and down, and she says, "Is Dominic here?"
Before I respond, I wait a moment to hear anything from Dominic. My job is to, support Dominic, not answer truthfully. So
I'll lean over. I'm actually here right now. We were doing a little bit of a roll call. Did you need me for anything at this moment?
That's
for the
Captain
record,
Dominic
I do not move.
Bailey.
For the record, I do not move from the doorway. I stay in front of him and just shift slightly so he can kind of talk over my shoulder while staying ready just in case.
Zeldana says, he kind of peers around you and says, "Yes, Gaffrin has a few things they would like to say to you without the crew present."
You know what? I figured this may happen. I'm going to turn around. Listen, everyone, there are a few things as a captain that you are privy to. And seeing as how I'm the only captain, I am the only one privy to this particular bit of knowledge. So if you do not mind, I'm going to have Johnny and Kyburn here. Johnny, you go over the security details and protocols that you are going to be enacting while on the ship. And Kyburn, can you just make sure you keep an eye on everyone while I'm gone?
Absolutely. And I grab Mads by the knee.
Tell us how you really feel.
Mads by the nads.
Funny thing, you're grabbing by the knee. It's exactly
enemies to lovers arc.
But he said we are going to the privy.
I'd like to help you inspect your stateroom a little bit more. How do you say in depth?
All right, so it looks like Kyburn is gonna wrangle Mads. Trevor and Troy are also there. Trevor is, bored and carving a little figurine out of wood, and Troy is wrapped with attention to you, Johnny, as you go over the security details. He seems to be in awe of you. You've clearly fought before, and he's seen so little of the world. He's in rapture about it. You head out, Dominic, and Zeldana just kind of stands on this ship. You no longer see the crates. The road tortoises are no longer burdened with any packages. And as you sort of enter back onto the deck of the ship, you see Gaffrin leaning over a strange looking box with sort of a crank handle on it. And it's, making a tinkling sound, like a far off distant melody. It has sort of a strange quality to it. Roll a wisdom test to see if you've ever heard this melody before.
Alrighty, wisdom. Okay, all right. Wisdom. That'll be a 3 total.
You have never heard of this song before. And the box, looks like a music box that you see everywhere else. You're not exactly sure why that they had this going, but you decide, hey, it's none of your business. Gaffrin straightens up and turns over to you. And he, takes his hood back just a little bit so you can see a little bit of his face. And you see a face that is scarred, just tons of scars on the surface of his face. His mist mark of a sarin has been kind of chopped up. And he says to you, I'm glad that you took this upon yourself. I was a little bit leery, but it sounds like your ship, especially, is exactly what we need. And he kind of tilts his head. He's like, yeah, you hear that? And you actually hear the buzz of the engine and the constant hum that your ship emits. Not every airship does this. And he says, it's like music. I think you were chosen for this. I appreciate that. I think this is true. Don't you think, Zeldana? And she goes, if you say so, Gaffrin. And she looks over at you and she says, Gaffrin has said that he would like me to stay with the cargo and accompany you to Selida.
That was that part of the original bargain there, Gaffrin? I don't remember exactly that. I mean, I'm sure we can make amenities.
He looks at you and he says, it wasn't a part of the original deal, but it felt more right. This is an important mission, and I can't leave it in the hands of a stranger, even those that come highly recommended.
Well, you just flattered me at this point. Yeah, I guess if I have, I mean, if I have no other, options here, I mean, there's not much I can say, right?
No, there
Yeah.
isn't much that you can say, he says. And he puts his hood back up and he says, remember, half now, half when you arrive at Selida, you know who to talk to. And he takes out a purse filled with coins and hands them over to you. When you open it up, you see the highest form of currency in this land, which is a salt mark. This is a lot of money, and this is just half of it. This is a difficult journey. If you make stops, it will take a month. But Gaffrin has asked you to stop as little as possible. So this journey is going to take 2.5 weeks if you just sort of jet there and you have no problems. So it could be that he's just compensating you for this dangerous, very long journey. But the amount of coin is a little bit questionable.
I appreciate the candor here. I mean, this is a lot of coins, so you must have a lot of trust then in that case, and the I guess the endeavors of the Beck and Call, if you will.
I have been given a vision that you are the man for this job.
Yeah, I'm not really big on visions. Not big on fate there. But if you say so, I'm sure that you know what you're talking about. It's beyond me, right? It's beyond me. You seem to know more, so I'm more of an open-minded kind of person. And once I've learned more, I mean, when it comes to fate, I guess. I mean, you know what? I'm talking too much. I've got what you're putting down. I have it in my hand. It's gonna be taken care of. We got Zaldana on board. Do you eat, right, Zaldana? You have food?
Of course I eat.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we got something for you. Just a quick question. Now I know no one's supposed to see what's going on here, as far as like in the ship. Like you don't want anybody, perusing.
No.
Does that include me?
Yes.
Now
And she's very firm.
I have a question, no clarification. What happens in your visions? You see a vision, right? Let's say you see a vision of someone accosting the ship, and I need to find a way to talk my way into what's in the cargo. I mean, I don't know how am I supposed to be able to navigate those those winds, if you will, if I don't know what's in them.
If you absolutely need to flee to that part of the ship, take me with you. It would be better for you if you had me with you.
Right. And what do I tell my crew? I mean, they didn't expect you to be coming.
Make something up.
All right, I can do that.
Good.
Well, welcome aboard. Come on. Gaffron, it's a pleasure doing business with you. I appreciate the opportunity.
He shakes your hand. He has a firm grip, and you do see scarring even on his hands. He clearly went through something.
Yeah. Have a great evening. Whatever it is that you plan to do. I hope it's filled with peace.
Yes. Prophet's blessings. And he walks away.
All right. So, Zaldana, when we get onto this ship here, we're just gonna say that you are a cousin of mine, and mother sent you. My mother sent you with me just to keep tabs on me. I mean, I am part of a house, some kind of family that has kind of rapport. So, if anything, you just say you're my cousin.
Do we have to like each other?
Absolutely not. No. Sometimes cousins don't like each other.
Okay. I am your cousin, Zeldana. Now I must go below deck.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna go back to everyone else. I'm just going back to everyone else. Is that cool?
Do whatever you wish.
All right. Well,
you must set sail now.
Oh, yes, right now. Okay. Well, in that case, yeah, let's go. I immediately turn tail, go to where everyone else is at, barge to the door. All right, everyone. Wait, I don't mean to interrupt whatever was going on. I'm sure whatever was being said was very important, but we actually have to go right now. I forgot we're on a time schedule, so I was being a bit outlandish there. Quick note: we do have an extra passenger. It's my cousin. My mother sent her. She's very overbearing. That woman. So her name is Zaldana. So if you happen to see her, you can wave hi. She's not very friendly. She doesn't even like me, to be honest. But she's here regardless. So,
Question, sir.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Who's the overbearing one, your mother or your cousin?
That's a very good question that philosophers will ponder for years and years. But to answer from my perspective, it would be my mother. My mother's very overbearing. So
your mother's not here, is she?
No, she's off that way somewhere in the city.
So we only have to worry about the overbearing one on board.
Right. Yeah.
But
right. I'm sorry. Who's betting
watching off?
I can see we all have a lot of opinions here. Well, just again, if you see her, just be friendly, and if she seems off friendly, it's just because that's just her. That's just her.
She's betting herself.
Well, no, she's not kind.
Oh, she's not that kind.
Right.
Right. Yes.
Not that kind. Yes.
Not that kind.
Right. Well, I'm gonna go do
air, shall we? Before anybody talk more.
What was that?
I said, let's get in the air, shall we? Before anybody has to talk more. That feels like a bigger risk than the lack of lodestone.
Trevor and Troy, eventually stand up. Troy actually hits Trevor, who's deep in carving. He wasn't listening at all, but Troy was listening to you, Johnny. And he says, absolutely, sir. I will get going. And we're setting sail for the first time. Isn't this great? I mean, not the first time after being like hit by Deborah. Like, not my first time, not the ship's first time.
I'll give a soft smile and kind of tap him on his shoulder and say, it's all right, lad. Don't worry. I'm crew now, so it's all right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. He's a little confused, but he's like, okay. He heads off. The sails are unfurled. Kyburn, you are able to start up the engine fully. It's always kind of just like at this low puttering, but you do need to crank it. Nobody's exactly sure how you do it, but you managed to get it going. It just looks like you're fiddling with stuff. I'm
That's
pretty
a
sure at
secret
this
I will
point
take to
Dominic's
my
watched
grave.
you and not been able to glean it. Sorry, go ahead, Chad.
That is a secret I will take to my grave. Hopefully, it won't also be yours. All right. Moving on. All hands on deck. Team stations. Let's get this ship flying.
All right, you guys managed to set sail off into the mists. It's a fairly clear night. Like I said, you're actually able to see a few stars in between the constant clouds that we have here. Trevor and Troy seem to be in awe of all of this. Most of you who are watching them may realize that they have never actually sailed an airship before, and they are just like overwhelmed and in awe of everything. Eventually, the shore of Aldome fades into the distance. Occasionally, you kind of see the lights of various other airships far off into the distance, but soon you are all left alone in the mists.
And I feel like every once in a while you hear like weird clanking sounds coming from various parts of the ship, and Kyburn just yelling out, "It's fine!"
All right. You, after everything's set up, the staff of Trevor, Troy, and Deborah watch the sails for a while. Dominic, you are steering most of the time. Deborah actually has sailed before, but she has sailed lake ships, and she sort of tries to school you. But she is yawning, and eventually she goes to bed for a few hours. Between her, Trevor, Troy, and you, Dominic, somebody will always be sailing the vessel. The night passes pleasantly. The hum of the ship actually lulls a lot of you guys to sleep. I mean, the clanging every once in a while is kind of bad, but luckily the room nearest to the engine room isn't yours. It's Kyburn's. And, you know, to him, that is just music to his ears.
Yeah, it's like the snoring of a partner you really, really love. You're like, would this be annoying if it were anybody else? Maybe. But I know who it is. You know, that's his shit, man. That's his shit. Right there beside him in the mist. I get it. It's true love, baby.
All right. Really quickly, I just need to check over my notes. All right. Dominic, you did not sleep very well. You are very nervous. A lot rides on this mission. You get up kind of as the moon is starting to brighten back into a sun. You go out on deck. Could you make a magic roll, actually? This will be a willpower dice plus 1.
Ooh, okay. Give me 1 second. Willpower. Ooh, okay. All right, cool. All right, Ian, you said +1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cocked, my keyboard. That is an 8 + 1, so 9.
9. All right. So you feel that this might be a time that a mist storm will be blowing in. It's early morning, and though the moon is brightening into the sun, you can't really see it as well as you normally would at this time. You know, you take out your pocket watch, you're checking the sun, you feel in your magic that the mist feels a little bit different, as if a mist storm could be rolling in. You're not exactly sure when, though.
Okay.
You will need to tick off an aura, by the way, because you used your mist magic to sense this.
Yeah, okay. How do I just do like
So over in your the magic area of your character sheet, it'll say full aura, and then go to current aura and mark a 19 instead of 20.
Roger that. Okay. Okay. Is there any way to avoid it? If it was coming?
Potentially you could stop because it feels like it's ahead of you, but that feels not good because you just started your journey. You could push through it since it is a bit further off. You could try to predict when it comes and, just keep sailing until the last minute and then call the crew inside. Because through a mist storm, they do need to be indoors.
Okay. I will. I'm going to let Johnny. I'm gonna find Johnny, and I'm gonna say,
Not far away.
okay. Where's Johnny? Oh shit. Okay. Johnny. Listen. There is of mist storms, right? They're mysterious, ominous, and really annoying. So we may be encountering one pretty soon. Now, I don't know what your typical routine is for one of these kind of things, but in my experience, we typically have everyone inside while someone, maybe even a skeleton crew, is managing up top. Does that sound like that might be something you are familiar with?
I've not been on an airship like this before, but I've been in storms and I know basics of safety. It sounds like we maybe get the young ones downstairs, folk like Deborah downstairs, and probably Mads. But Kyburn working the engines, and then I can be up here doing anything that needs to be done. Skeleton crew, I can even tie myself on board if necessary. We got plenty of rope, and I'll hold on. I'm pretty strong.
Well, my plan is
a wisdom test, Johnny.
0 promises. Definitely 0 promises.
You got a D4 in that, I see.
Oh, for sure. So that's a 1 on the die.
Okay, this is a critical.
Let's see. We've had our first crit success. Let's see if I can get us our first crit failure. I'm ready to make history. That's a 2 on a D4.
That is not enough, unfortunately. You're not exactly sure what to do in mist storms other than hide. You do feel like you need to protect this ship.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to stick with that plan of staying on board. Yeah.
That
just jumping over the side. Well, see you guys later.
This sounds like a you problem.
As opposed to staying on deck, I should say.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I like hiding makes sense, but also a captain and a Verton just told me, hey, we might need a skeleton crew on deck. I certainly don't want anybody else taking that role than myself. I don't know what I'm doing, but I certainly don't feel anybody other than myself should be doing it. If anyone's going to be out here exposed to the mist, I want it to be me.
I'll tell you what, Johnny, I have a knack ability for being able to, once I'm in contact with the mist, if we ever have to encounter one, I have the knack ability to discern its mood. I don't really want to do that, but if it push comes to shove, we can do that. I actually have to take a quick second to step downstairs. I need to speak to my cousin real quick. They may know a little bit more than I do. I am knowledgeable, but unfortunately, they may know more.
Absolutely, get what information we can, and in the meantime, I'll consult with Kyburn, see what we could do about maybe at least making sure everything's tied down in the hold and getting everything ready.
Right, yeah. Letting other people know would be that's actually a good idea. I don't even know why I didn't think of that. So please, if you could do that, I'm gonna go talk to Zaldana real quick.
All right, I will do that. I'll kind of give notification to the rest of the folks to stay downstairs for safety, and then try and find Kyburn so we can come up with a plan to see what needs to be tied down and steadied and what we need to prioritize in a storm.
All right, Kyburn, this isn't your first mist storm. You know exactly what to do. You close every single window that you had open to kind of keep the smoke from, making everything smell, but it's time.
Batten down the hatchins, hoist the mizzen mast, assail the top gallants, and all that other nautical BS.
You list off of a bunch of things that, Johnny doesn't quite know, but it sounds very authoritative. It sounds very shippy.
I believe it.
Like, I'll list off the things and see the blank stare on her face. Like, all right, come here. And start, grab that rope, turn that handle, wrap it this way.
And meanwhile, I'm sitting there going If it's just another sail, why are you calling it a jib? What does that mean? It doesn't even jibble.
You have to be specific with what the parts of the ship. They each have a name. Otherwise, people get confused.
Definitely,
Anyway.
as opposed to, port and starboard and right and left. It's much clearer to say port and starboard.
All right, less chatty, more pulley on the ropey.
Pulling I can do.
Between everybody on board, you guys are able to pull in the sails. You are just going off of engine power right now, which is significantly slower. I would say probably half as slow, or half as fast as you were previously. Dominic, when you go downstairs, you are able to, here, I'll show you where on Owl Bear Rodeo, your new guest is staying. She is staying currently right here in front of the backmost hold. You'll see a little star icon there.
Found it. Yep. I'll if she's not in like the backpack, I'll just come in and I'll just I'll knock on the wall, just to gain attention. Zeldana, I have a question for you. If you are free.
You see Zeldana, she is sitting cross-legged on her on her bed. And she's just kind of humming to herself, going back and forth, back and forth. When you speak to her, she stops and opens her eyes and she says, "What is it?"
I got this feeling, this sinking feeling, right? No pun intended, obviously, but there's a mist that might roll in, and I'm just wondering if you have any experience with that.
I do not.
Do I believe her?
Roll an insight test. This will be wisdom plus any insight roll you might have, such as truth telling. No, okay. It's
right,
wisdom.
So that is a 1.
Well, that's a critical. You can roll again.
Okay. All right. A 4.
A 4. Okay, that is a success. She is telling the truth. She's just not very loquacious.
Are you capable of doing anything, or are you just going to sit down here the whole time if things kind of pop off? I mean, I know mist storms that they tend to incur a bit of danger with them.
Since you got a critical success on your insight test into her, you can see that she appears to be pretty worried. She's trying to hide it though, and she says, "Is this normal for expeditions to be stuck in a mist storm so close to shore?"
That's a good question. In my experience, I'm gonna say I don't know. My experience is limited with this endeavor. The mist. Me and the mist we're not really good friends. You have nothing to worry about. If you're just gonna hunker down here, that's probably the best spot for you, anyways. We need someone to stay down here and watch the goods. So don't even worry about it. Don't even think about me coming down here. Forget everything I just said.
All I know about mist storms is what my mother told me, which is to stay inside and stay calm.
Okay. We might try that. We'll see how that goes. Maybe we'll try that. It depends on how long the storm lasts.
If your crew can't stay calm, you can send them to me. And she closes her eyes and she starts humming again and rocking back and forth like this.
I'm just gonna just tiptoe away, and I'm gonna go find Kyburn. I'm sure you've already heard there's there might be a mist rolling in. Do you think that we need to be up top? I mean, we don't need to be up top, right?
No. Johnny and I have already secured everything that needs to be secured. We just stay down here, buckle down, make sure nobody goes upstairs, and maybe break out some cards or some dice. Have some fun of it. It's gonna get a little bit rough, but if we just stay safe, we'll be fine.
All right, I'm gonna go touch base with Mads just to make sure he's good to go, squared away. I don't know his encounters with that sort of thing, so I appreciate it. You're doing amazing, by the way.
Make sure he doesn't let that water weasel out of his seat.
Rightly so. Yeah, the water weasel. Absolutely. I'm gonna find Mads. Um, uh, uh, Mads, are you free right now?
Oh, just room and board, my friend. Room and board.
Okay. So we have a mist that might be rolling in.
Oh,
I can't. A mist. It's that mysterious.
it's right there in the name, isn't it?
It is
mysterious.
Anyways, we're just letting everyone know that they need to be inside during the duration of this mist storm. They say mist storm. The storm could be pleasant, it could be peaceful, or it could be chaotic. I don't know. It's a gamble, but for safety reasons, we're going to stay on the inside for right now.
Excellent. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Oh,
So
okay.
you want me to stay on the inside?
That's exactly what I said. Yes.
Perfect.
All right, well,
Duly noted. That was easy.
That was easy. We're on the same page. I appreciate that.
We're on the which? Sorry. Do we have a book? Are you reading something? Oh, tell me what's happening.
Lasted.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna just as he's talking, maybe just hopefully he won't notice that I've walked away at some point.
It's the second conversation you've just kind of out of.
Whether or not he just does not acknowledge that you've left, continues to talk.
Okay. Hey, why not? I'm definitely concerned that Mads will only remember that he agreed to stay inside for a limited period of time. So I am definitely going to try and make sure that I'm kind of waiting out the storm, kind of blocking the stairs up out of the hold atop the ship, so that somebody would have to be doing some serious swashbuckler nonsense to get atop without me seeing them.
All right. As you're kind of like waiting for the mist storm to roll in, you're more toward the top than everybody else everybody else is sort of gathered in the galley area. Deborah has broken out her famous lemon bars. She's like, this is mist storms can be scary. I've gone through plenty of them. Back when I was actually working on the ships, when there was a lake. Can you believe it? There used to be a lake here. It was gorgeous before everything just shattered into a million pieces. But that's why I make lemon bars, right? They lift your spirits, right? What was I saying? Oh,
You're saying that someone shat in a million pieces.
Oh, yes, exactly. Everything shattered into a million pieces. And then she kind of gets a haunted look at it. And she's like, lemon bars, but I used to make these for the crew back then because they lift your spirits, and it's important to have high spirits during a mist storm. So Squish, go get them. And Squish nods and runs its little pudgy body over to a drawer and opens it and takes out a set of dominoes and sets it out on the table and begins showing everybody how to play them. As this goes on, you are able to see, Johnny, that the mists around you are starting to get thicker. You can kind of hear the rumble of thunder. It's still in the distance, but it is there. And every once in a while, you see a crack of lightning. The mist starts to waft in. Every once in a while, you get some raindrops. And the mist isn't just cloud-like anymore. Every once in a while, you almost feel like you're hallucinating it, but you're sure that it's turning colors. So it is starting to get thicker. You sometimes see it turn purple or dark blue or pink, but it feels like the second you really look at it and concentrate on it, it disappears back into what you would consider normal mist colors. Do you stay out on deck or do you go below decks as this starts to occur?
Oh, no, I will go below decks, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to kind of stay at the base of the stairs that lead up to above deck so that no one can get above deck. Like I'm basically trying to block the way to make sure that everybody stays below decks.
All right, so you've closed the door, you are staying down there. As this is continuing on, everybody can see outside of the window the lightning flashing. You can see the multicolored mist. I want everybody to roll a willpower test. Things always feel kind of eerie in a mist storm, and I want to see how everybody fares. And please call out your numbers since I only have like 1% at a time on my screen at the moment.
Remind it's the D8 plus switch.
This is just a willpower test unless you have like a courage skill or something like that.
I got a 6 off a D6. I don't know if it matters. It's the top number.
No, it doesn't, but thank you.
It's only the bottom number. Okay.
It's only if you get a 1. Yeah.
Which I did.
Did you say?
I got a 1.
Oh, you got a 1. Okay, roll again.
7 on my part.
7 on your part. Okay.
8 on a D8.
Nice.
That will be a 2 for roll number 2.
A 2 on number 2. Okay. And I am going to roll for Zeldana. Okay. As you guys are sitting, some of you are playing dominoes. Deborah has also set out just like a little bit of whiskey on the table. Not a lot. She doesn't want everybody to get crazy. But she set it out for those who want to partake. But she says, of course, she's not going to because she wants to keep her wits about her. You guys are looking out the windows. And Kyburn, you are sure that you are hearing singing coming from the engine room.
Does anyone hear that?
Yes.
I'll be right back.
No,
grab a
what was
lemon
the
bar.
question?
Kyburn, sort of perks up and then leaves and heads toward the engine room. Does anybody follow him or do they stay back and play cards?
I certainly will.
All right. Mads is on his tail. Kyburn, you go into the engine room and it's weird. You don't hear anything. You don't hear the hum of the engine. You don't hear the strange singing you heard earlier. It's silent. Very silent. You can hear your blood pumping in your head and in your neck. When you swallow, you can hear the juices going down your esophagus. It's very unsettling. Mads, you go in there. What was that?
Am I in disolation?
Yes, in isolation for rolling poorly. I think
Yeah,
that
that's what you
worked
get
out.
for rolling a 1, a natty 1. Your character got sent to isolation.
Mads, you are in the engine room, but you do see that Kyburn looks uncomfortable for some reason.
Oh, bold one. Ha ha. No, I don't hear what you were saying, but now I don't hear much of anything.
There's not much going on here, but you don't have that silence around you muffling everything.
But I don't hear that whatever he heard, I don't hear that.
You hear silence, but it's not like as unsettling as it is for Kyburn. Like
Okay.
It's quiet in here, but it's not like so quiet that you can hear your own heartbeat.
So what are we listening for? Huh?
Shut up! Wait, can I hear him when he speaks?
Yes, you can.
And I'll like grab him by the front of the shirt. Shh. Oh, do you smell that? And I'm gonna like tap on the engine with a tool. Like, do I hear that?
You hear it, but it's like you're hearing it underwater.
Yes, I hear it. When you do that, it is
Roll-
heard.
Roll a wit test, both of you, please.
This should be good.
Another 1.
Oh God. I love the early levels because like everybody's rolling really low dice. So the odds of ones are like, yeah.
That was on a D8.
Oh. An 8 on a D12.
All right. Mads, you actually no, you got a critical, Kyburn. Go ahead and roll again.
5.
5. Okay. So you are passing, and that is a critical success. Both you and Mads come upon it at the same time. You hear a creaking, but again, it sounds like it's very far away, even though it's right across the room. And one of the windows has come unhinged, and it is letting in the mist into the room. The mist is flowing in too in a very thick and strange way. It's kind of a greenish color, and it's flowing over the side and sort of pooling on the floor.
Oh, dear. That's not ominous.
All right. We'll see if you allow this. I pull out the all wrench, and I twist a thing, and I adjust some things and make it into like a long hook that extends, and I will reach it towards the window to try and pull it shut.
Ooh, I like that. You are able to do that with your magical multi-tool. Roll a grace test to be able to just like hook it really well from a distance. And also it's windy outside, so it's like moving.
4 plus anything.
You have a lot of skills. Let me look and see what you got. You are the most skilled of all.
Athletics.
This one actually I would probably say is like a combination of perception and navigation. So I'll give you a +1 on that one.
Okay, so 5.
Yeah, so you are able to hook it, and you are able to close it. The mist that was coming in and pooled on the floor immediately disappears, and suddenly all of that sound comes rushing back to you. It is horrendously loud to both Mads and you, just because of the contrast between the dead silence and the normal engine sounds. So it's kind of overwhelming.
I will just sigh, huge sigh of relief, and kind of go over and hug the engine. Oh, I missed you, my baby. It's all fine. We're all fine.
That's impressive. The ladies must love you for that tool of yours. Very extendy.
Wait, what are you doing here? Get out of my engine room.
Oh, that's right. You're not supposed to be here.
All right, you guys exit back out. Back in the main cabin, you all are kind of, having a good time. Kyburn and Mads are still gone. You're not sure exactly where they ran off to, but they're not above ship, so who cares? Zeldana suddenly enters into the common area, and she says, "Do you hear the music? It's beautiful."
I hear a storm. That's all I hear, ma'am.
It's not like our music. It's different.
That would be the storm.
No. I know this song. And you can kind of see a strange smile appear on her face. She says, I know that voice.
A voice now, too, is it?
No, it has to be. I knew this trip was blessed. She's come back for me. And she runs up toward the top of the ship.
Oh, absolutely not. This is why I'm at the stairs. Full body block. Just, ma'am, if they've come back for you, they'll come back for you when the storm's over, and they'll still be there. You're not going upstairs. Captain's orders.
She is going to try to duck under your arm. This is going to be a... Go ahead and roll a strength test, and she is going to try to dodge out of your way.
Can I do athletics?
Yes. So you roll strength, and then you add your athletics skill to that.
Great. And all skills at this level are just a +1. Is that correct?
Just a +1 right now. Mm-hmm. At higher levels, you get like supporting skills, but at level 1 apprentice, you do not.
Tragic. All right. 5.
You got a 5. Let me see how graceful she is able to be here. Oh, yeah, she ducks right under your arm and continues on up the stairs. Let me take a look at my map and see.
Okay, immediately chasing.
Immediately chasing.
Same on my part.
Okay. Yeah, she manages to get up on deck. I'm gonna put her right here. The door she actually leaves open, and you see this sort of weird, heavy, thick pink mist sort of start to come down the stairs, almost serpentine. But that is where we're going to leave it tonight. Guys.
That serpentine pink mist.
Which is my character's real name.
Yes. It's the name of what I bring to all the potlucks.
Serpentine pink mist.
So would this be a mist hanger instead of a cliffhanger?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Wow.
I'll see myself out. Good night, everybody.
Oh, I'll follow you. I'm following.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, that was Isles of Mist. I feel like it's always good to start things off with the mist storm. It is integral to the world. It is how you all got your mist marks. And it'll be fun to see how you guys deal with this issue.
Yeah, a lot of problems, a lot of hurdles. I like it.
Yeah, no, super fun. I'm just so curious about this world, and I love how much lore has been put into it, and it's really exciting. I can't wait to learn more.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We are doing this every week for the next few weeks on Tuesdays, 7 p.m. PST. Thank you for all our returning misfits. We really appreciate your support, and tune in next week to see if the intrepid adventurers on the Beck and Call will be able to make it through the mist storm unscathed.
And a special shout out to our new friends at the DeGang Gang who came and joined us today. So glad to have you with us. Hope you stick around.
Thank you, Raiders. Very good to have a raid on the first episode of a campaign. So if you want to stick around, you're right at the beginning.
Yeah. You can shape the rest of the adventures of the Beck and Call.
Yes. Roll high, don't suck.
Good night, everybody.
Or put you in dice jail.
Isolation.
Dice.